These are the top 10 stories that you guys read so far this year. I guess it could change in the next week, but I doubt it. Top 10 stories right now. Number 10, could the Mullet Festival make a comeback? Maybe. This has been pretty much the back end of the year. Two organizers want to bring back the Boggy Bayit Mullet Festival. Whether that will happen remains to be seen, but the Niceville City Council did vote in favor of letting it move forward. The big issue, though, is going to be parking. Where is everybody going to park? And that is what the organizers are working on right now. And hopefully we'll have a plan in front of the city council at some point so that they don't pull the plug. Number 9, you remember that trap house on 47th and Fur? Well, it is gone. It's razed. Somebody knocked it down. The new owner of the land got the land in a foreclosure sale from the county after the county realized that nobody was going to pay all the ordinance fines that were on it and exercise eminent domain. So now an individual is going to build houses there. And hopefully that will reduce some of the drug problems that we're seeing in that area on Fur, just south of Northwest Florida State College. Number 8, a little bit of a controversial one. It was the Beta Aaliyah made its first landing at Duke Field, just north of Niceville. The Beta Aaliyah is an all-electric aircraft that can fly 250 nautical miles per flight is its range. It has 5 Tesla batteries inside of it and is part of an experimental program that the Air Force is doing to see where they can use electric-powered flight in the future. So very beginning stages of that testing phase, if you will. So we will hopefully hear more about it. But it was a 3-month test down here in Florida. The plane's originally from Vermont, so they have very different testing conditions up there. They wanted to see how it would work down here. So it's on its way back up here in the next couple of days. It'll be back in Vermont. But an exciting demo to see, especially with the future of flight being something that's going to be really important to the military in the next, I guess forever, but especially in the next couple of decades. Number 7 was a tragic single-car accident that claimed the life of a Crestview area woman. The 41-year-old was driving north on Forest Drive there, right next to Ruckle Airstrip, when she veered off the road and crashed into a tree and died. The medical examiner hasn't released any of its findings. Of course, those probably are going to be protected under some sort of privacy statute. And so this is really kind of one of those stories that we may not ever know the full story. Number 6 was about Michael Levins. He was the guy that was involved in a 10-hour standoff with the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office back in the summer. And eventually that standoff did end peacefully, and he was sentenced to 11 months and 29 days for the entire incident, and also has a bevy of other riders attached to that sentence, including Alcoholic Anonymous participation, random drug testing, a program for people that have been convicted of battery, things of that nature. Number 5 was that whole incident at Destin High School where people were trying to figure out whether or not the school would be accredited, whether or not the high schoolers would graduate with diplomas, all those things that made a lot of people pretty nervous when it came to their kids' educational future down there at Destin High School. Destin High School is a charter school which recently got its charter and opened just a couple of years ago. The end of the story is that they have gotten their accreditation as of July, and so those kids with those diplomas are good to go for colleges and things of that nature. But a little bit of a nervous hiccup there right before the end of the school year last year. For QB Ryan Mallett, the former quarterback of Arkansas and Michigan, who also played for the New England Patriots and the Minnesota Vikings, tragically died offshore off of Destin during the summer. The sheriff's office went and recovered the body. They say it had something to do with heat stroke, heat-induced illness is what they're initially looking at. That was a scuttlebutt anyway. And of course, this is another one of those cases where it's kind of open and shut. We're not going to get a whole lot more information than what's already been provided. Number 3, a Niceville toddler was medevac to Pensacola after a drowning incident off of Wava Circle, kind of in that unincorporated area that is includes Rocky Bayou Estates. The child was airlifted, but again, it's one of those health information things where we're not going to hear anything else about it unless the family decides to come forward and talk more about what happened. Number two was definitely not on my bingo card this year. General Jeffrey Garrity, the commander of Eglin Air Force Base, was brought in front of a congressional committee to explain why he didn't give a more full accounting of unidentified aerial phenomena to a delegation that went down to Eglin Air Force Base. The general side of the story is that the Congress people that had showed up for this meeting were not approved or on a list of people that were cleared to see a bunch of secret information. So he didn't give that part of the tour to those people. Congressman Matt Gaetz was on a list of people that were approved as part of his duties in Congress, and so there was a big hubbub, a congressional hearing, and you can find out more about it on midbaynews.com, where we have that full story posted. So, Niceville cardiologist is the #1 story of the year, not for a good reason. He was arrested for domestic violence in relation to an incident that took place over the July 4th weekend. His trial date has not been set yet. His next court appearance is January the 8th. And of course, we'll keep you up to date as to what's going on with Dr. Weisberg here in 2024. So those are the top 10 stories of this year. What'd you think? What was the most important story to you? And what was the most important story to the city? Let us know in the comments.